All right, so we're back here once again on another Friday night under the lights here. The commanders in the chat with your two favorite commanders. What's going on, Commander Cruz?
Nothing much, Another Friday, another day. You got one more preseason game that we're gonna talk about in a little bit. It's kind of a big one. I look at it as a big one for a few different reasons.
I agree with you as well too. Is that like to me? It's the battle of the Beltway, and there's a winning streak on the line, and it seemed like as of late, like Baltimore's got has had our number. So why not end that streak and at least be the talk of the town for the next 16 days
Yeah, and really
potentially.
just end preseason on a good note.
Yes, because I don't know who wants to be 0-3. It's just
I mean,
like,
we've done it. We've gotten 0-4, 1-3 a few times over the last 10, 15, 20 years.
yeah.
Wouldn't say I'm used to it, but I'm not surprised at this point anymore.
I don't want to get used to losing. Like, regardless of, you're right. But like you said, it's definitely going to be a game. Hopefully we will, we'll take care of business. But we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So first off, episode 42, and the title is About Damn Time, and we'll talk about the reason of why this is about damn time. So we got Dr. Full Field tonight for you guys. We got 16 days from our kickoff against Jacksonville Jaguars, 16 days away. We are a Brandon Banks away. And we also got a number 16 on our current roster at this point of August 26th. We're recording this. Stephen Parker, our strong safety out of Oklahoma. So 16 days until our season debut in our all white, an all white game on September the 11th. So, and we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So, and oh boy, what the hell happened on Saturday? So obviously, um, the Commanders fell short 24-14 in Kansas City.
You know, we even talked about it, last Friday. There wasn't much expectations going into this game as far as, winning the game. Obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. We know who they are. We didn't put a whole lot into really the outcome of the game, just the way they looked. And the first string looked really bad. The complete opposite of how they looked against Carolina in the first preseason game. The ones just looked really bad on both sides of the ball. Carson Wentz could not get anything going. Um, and I think, in my opinion, from what I saw, Taylor Heineke played much better than Carson Wentz was. The ones on defense, atrocious. Third down defense, third and long, once again, garbage. And going through Commander's Twitter, you have one camp saying, "Oh, it's only preseason." Don't make it a big deal, which I understand, but at the same time, it we saw this last year going into the season. We said all this last year. Oh, it's only preseason. Don't worry about it. They'll get it together, and they never really did. And people want us to expect that this year's going to be any different when there were no big additions to the defense. Pretty much the same core, the same 11 main guys on the starting defense, same coordinator, which can't really seems to not really make any adjustments. Um, So while yes, it's just preseason, we've seen this before from this defense, and it's not looking good going into this last game against Baltimore, and then ultimately Week 1 against the Jaguars. And again, the offense just very stale. Brian Robinson was the one highlight. He looked really good. The offensive line looked good. They looked good blocking for him. But again, Carson Wentz couldn't really get much going. So I don't know really what to think, what to expect. I want to stay hopeful, but at the same time, I see the last two games, and mainly just from the ones, and it's not. I'm not very optimistic because I saw a stat that said it was the ones on defense have been on the field for however many drives. and they're 0 for all of them on third down. Our first string defense has not gotten a third down stop this entire preseason, and you're not going to win ball games doing that.
Yeah. And that's where, like, what you say, like when people say it's the notion of the not, it's just preseason. No, this is, granted, yes, it is a preseason, but when you have a team like Washington who needs substantial improvement, this is where you need to do those fine tuning and get everything all together. This isn't like a Kansas City or a team that's already been established where, hey, we can go out and just do what we want. This is just kind of our situation. But when you are in our predicament, you have to build confidence from the jump. Like we said, we really, what we wanted last week was to get some third down stops, because that's going to give you confidence. If I can stop Patrick Mahomes on third down, that's going to give me those momentums going forward. Hey, so when we do play, quarterbacks of his caliber, guys who less than caliber, we can say, hey, we stopped Patrick Mahomes. This was an opportunity where you could have showed off this defense, where you could have took care of business. Because even if you look at and even seeing the game at in my seeing the game being there, Patrick Mahomes had all day to throw. Yeah. He had all day to throw, even on that touchdown pass where they got a little bit of a rush, but he still was able to elude that rush. And it's just like, those are the problems where this is something that is gonna affect them. This is just one of the things where you need this as a confidence builder, just like everything. Anything that you overcome or whatever do, even the small little details, that helps you. Yeah. I just like, if somebody learning how to walk, if they're so used to being like a cross country jog or run or whatever, and they get hurt to a point where they can't jog, but if they can get up from a chair and move maybe 200 feet without no assistance, that's progress. Mm-hmm. That's what this game was supposed to be. This, where there was a point where, hey, we need to see something. Because like you said, the offense, I give a little bit of leeway, because obviously there's an adjustment. But these guys have been in this defense, and like you said, we were supposed to trust Ron when it comes to because this is his third year. And everybody say with him, it's obviously his third year when he makes that change. And now it seems like it's the same old, same old. Granted, that's the thing where we have to. This is where what we have to look at it from a standpoint of, yes, it's the preseason, but this is the present. This is how this team is presently constructed. So we have to go on that, so what we see now is potentially it's going to rear its ugly head again, where now, the biggest question mark is going to be, will they be able to stop on third down? And that's something that we talked about all last year. And now it's going to carry on, because obviously tomorrow really is not going to matter, because obviously Lamar's not playing. But we'll talk about that as well. But like you said, and then this is like the ebb and flows, the seesaw of the quarterbacks. Obviously, Taylor Heineke, he balled out 9 for 12, had that touchdown pass to Cam Sims. So,
hell of a pass too.
Hell of a pass, and they got a real good connection. I mean, obviously, ever since since Taylor Heineke, he's been here. That's one of his guys. And then the nephew interception. My goodness. That's where it's like, oh my gosh, because they had a shot to win this football game. That's one thing, even despite all the craziness in the first half, obviously being down 14-0, Patrick Mahomes pretty much he did his thing, had 2 touchdowns, and then he went on the bench. Mm-hmm. And then even stopping their backup, Shane from Texas. He was a little bit elusive in that second quarter. So it was like he kind of got a little bit of a on us, a little lather on us. So it's one of the things where it's just like, we did have the opportunity to win that game. Sam did throw that interception, that costly interception, which I don't know who he threw it to. That's when I'm a little baffled about that. I'm like, I like, dude, you really just threw it like to him with no abandon, like no one, like that seemed intentional. I was like, oh no, what are you doing? But yeah,
Yeah, just all around the team as a whole did not look good. Had one or two good drives with Taylor Heineke in, but other than that,
yeah,
it wasn't a fun game to watch.
no, it was not, and it was. Trust me, if I was to pick a game to go and see, that was the worst one I've seen. I mean, that I've been to. I mean, it was hot already, but then like this, and it was getting to a point. And speaking of that, I'm telling you, these Chief fans, I swear, get them a Super Bowl. They act brand new. Because I tell you, when I went in 2017, they was all nice and respectful and all this, and then I come here, they're like, "Oh, Commanders, what are y'all doing here?" I'm like, "Huh?" Like, dude, it's a preseason game. I'm like, y'all talking greasy like that? Like, come on now, y'all don't want a Super Bowl. Y'all done got a little cute over there. No,
I hope that I can know what that feels like one day. I hope that one day in my lifetime I get to act brand new.
Oh, who are you telling? Me too. I'd be the same way. I mean, I know I kind of say it in a negative way, but yeah, anybody come to us, I'd be like, oh, Jacksonville, who y'all? Like, who
Right?
this? Like, or whoever we play or whatever. It's already like that with a division, but yeah, just imagine the bragging rights in the NFC East.
Yeah.
That's to be like, yeah, come in there strutting. But yeah, they act brand new. I like they was really nice and accommodating in 2017. Oh man, great game. Yeah, you guys okay. And they looking at us like, but I was like, but it was a lot. It was Commander fans kind of represented a little bit. That was a lot of Commanders out there. I was like, don't let that home attendance fool you. We
Yeah.
travel. But but yeah, I tell you, man, it was embarrassing. Like you said, it was to a point where it's just like it was just not the best game for us. But like you said, it's you gotta have baby steps when it comes to this type of stuff. And that's what we've been looking for. We want baby steps. We don't want you to, stop on third down every drive, but just make one stop. Give yourself some confidence going into the regular season.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. So, other news that happened. So definitely we got to give a huge happy belated birthday to the legend Sonny Jurgensen, 88 years young, and
Still
it's
rocking
funny.
too.
Yeah, he's still doing his thing, and man, so and it's funny because I didn't know this, and it's funny because we've we are Redskin Commander football team historians.
Hmm.
We live this. We live this. And it's funny. I always thought his jersey was already retired, surprisingly. But then I was like, because at first I was like, huh, like, because at first, because I heard the news like first thing in the morning, so a part of me thinking maybe I'm seeing something different. You know, like am I stepping to a twilight zone or whatever? But it's the news is and it came on his 88th birthday where Sonny Jurgensen jersey will be retired in week 18. A lot of people saying that yeah, it's either gonna be January 7th or 8th. We've already know it's gonna be January 8th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
Yeah.
because we're gonna be that Sunday night football game for sure.
For the
But
division.
anyway, yeah, I say for the wild card, but we right.
I've always been the more optimistic one between the two of them.
But yeah, potentially because the way I got it slotted with that record, they could potentially win the division with the record I have them at. We'll talk about that. But yeah, that'd be week 18. Obviously, Sonny Jurgensen is a member of the 1983 Pro Football Hall of Fame, 5-time Pro Bowler. Also, and I think I really know him a lot more. So obviously, I wasn't around during his playing days, and even when he was inducted to the Hall of Fame, I wasn't even born. But I know him affectionately because of the radio broadcast
Yeah.
and everything. And your thoughts on this long overdue jersey retirement?
Um, I mean, just like you said, long and overdue. One of the more decorated and storied quarterbacks in our franchise history, which we don't have a whole bunch of those. Him and Sammy Baugh were probably the two most prolific. We have a couple sprinkled here and there. Obviously the three Super Bowl winners, Mark Rippon, uh, and Joe Theismann, and obviously Doug Williams. But as far as like career wise, longevity at the position, him and Sammy Baugh probably are our top two quarterbacks, in the franchise history. And I'm glad they announced it. I'm glad they're waiting until week 18 because I promise you, if they do to Sonny Jurgensen what they did to the late Sean Taylor, people would be up in arms, protesting outside the stadium, and it would be a bad look for the team, and it'd be very hard to come back from for team president Jason. Why am I forgetting his
Right.
name?
Jason Wright.
Jason
Yeah,
Wright.
good. Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of the things where yes, I actually love that they did this because they did it right. Because that's what we talked about, like the whole thing with Sean Taylor. You're doing it right. You're doing it the right way where guys can plan this. And if you are a Sonny Jurgensen guy, that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, let me get myself together so I could be, at FedEx on, on that weekend, that second
Yeah,
weekend in January. So that gives you ample time versus with Sean's, we found it like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday that he was
yeah,
going to get it on a on a Sunday, and it's just like and the game of it too, where we and I hated it because obviously that was the Chiefs game. It's like don't it don't make no significance, but now you got Sonny Jurgensen versus Dallas, so that makes it all the more like it adds an extra ump to it
yeah,
because and that's where they got it right because now you might run into a case where this won't be a 60-40 or 70-30 Cowboy
hmm,
Commander situation. They're gonna pack that house.
yeah,
They're gonna pack that house for Sonny Jurgensen. Sonny Jurgensen is beloved in many people in multiple generations. Like our generation, he's beloved obviously by the sports, broadcasting,
hmm,
and then generation prior to us, remember him from his football exploits. So you know, two two generations of fans, love this man, love and adore him. So it's like that's perfect, and I'm like, and that's perfect, especially for a game of that magnitude,
yeah,
because you don't want the opposing team to pack the house like every home game.
yeah.
So
The only thing I would have liked to see different was to do it at the game against the Eagles.
true, yeah,
'Cause
because
that's the team
yep,
that drafted him. That's the team that he won
yep,
his only championship with. So that I think that would have been pretty cool.
yeah, that would have
But
been
yeah,
yeah,
announcing it, giving yourself so much time to plan it out is going to be really key. And I think and Jason Wright and Doug Williams they learned from last time.
yep,
I'm not saying I wish anybody's jersey retirement to go the way the Sean's did, but if they had to switch, I would have rather Sonny Jurgensen's been kind of last minute
yep,
and Sean Taylor been planned out. But it is what it is.
yep,
At the end of the day, Sonny Jurgensen's getting his number retired, which, like we've said time and time again, long overdue.
yeah. And like you said, yeah, if it was a swap, I can get that as well. But that's the thing about all of this, where it's just like it's a good thing. Like you said, it's a good thing. They're getting it right. That's where, like we talk about, and I guess we can call these people the what word degenerates of the chat. We're
Yeah.
we're the logical kind of ones in the chat, but we got commanders in the chat that are a little bit crazy and a little upset about it. But I'm like, it's never a wrong time to get it right.
Yeah.
And this is what they're doing. And now looking back and that's one thing too, where now looking back at the situation in October, I can look at it a little bit different than compared to when it was in a moment. Like because
Yeah.
it angered me. It really angered me that they did it at that particular time because of kind of what he meant to the organization and the timing of it, and then like prepare because like you're saying, people would have loved that opportunity to go because
Oh
like you
yeah.
can't right, especially like and I like use you as a crystal clear example where you're 3,000 miles away, and if you ever want to decide to come there,
Mhm.
you know, like if you wanted to come down in January, you got ample time to
Yeah.
say, hey, okay, well, I'm gonna, you know, try to make my way versus knowing in 5 days. Cause it's, you know, you got fans all over the world. Like you got people who travel, you know, this team travels. Like I said,
Yeah.
this team travels. It's not just up that, you know, that Washington, DC, Virginia, Maryland area.
Yeah.
They're all over the
Absolutely.
place. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, to your point, had it been switched and maybe it was announced in August that Sean Taylor jersey was going to be retired in the beginning of January, I probably most likely would have made every single type of plans possible to make it to that game.
Yeah.
But again, they're doing it right this time, and hopefully from here on out, any jersey that gets retired is done correctly.
Yeah, and I think they will, and I think they learned a hard lesson with the Sean Taylor thing. I think that was kind of one of those where they learned,
Yeah.
and they're getting it right this time. And it's going to be a rocking environment, and it's funny. And you know, I always notice with Sonny. Sonny's one of those guys where it's like it's either it's people it's a camp that loves him and a camp that hates him, like from a broadcast standpoint
Hmm.
because like I remember I remember it was maybe a few years ago. No, it was I ain't been a few years, probably about a decade now. And I was saying how it used to be at one point, I would listen to him on the radio, don't listen to the TV. I listen to him and Larry. Get out of it. Like, hey, we just know him by the first name basis, like what Cameron said, Larry. But anyway, so and I used to watch them because they were really like even I always like Sonny because he's kind of one of those where it's kind of comical in a sense, but it's kind of like I like his style. And like he's really entertaining, especially like if you not watch the game, he kind of does give it like kind of color.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too where I really I loved his broadcasting style where it's like you see he's in it and it's funny like it I wouldn't say it remind me kind of how Doc Walker is. I don't know if you heard. I
You know
love
what?
Doc.
And that's
Like
literally, I was waiting for you to finish your point because I was going to say the same exact thing. A lot like Doc Walker. If you're
it,
not listening to the game, if you're not watching the game, you're only listening.
yep.
It's definitely it's very, very funny.
Yeah, and this one, but that shows you that they care. That's the
Yeah.
thing about this. This isn't just like, this and that third. They love this organization. That's why That's why it's so important for these type of guys to be, to be a part of it. So, like you said, if they're gonna pack that house, they're gonna
Yeah.
pack that house on January 8th, 2023, at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be a little bit past what about 10ish when when Sonny gets his jersey retired in the Raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've already called it already. That that's my hot take of the season. Like that's gonna be the final game of the regular season. So I like cue up Carrie Underwood and all them because
Yep.
we gonna be waiting all day for Sunday night.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
But again, it's good that he's finally getting it retired. I'm happy for him.
Yes, I'm extremely happy for him. And it's just some other news of the week too. I know we kind of sidetracked a little bit, but our boy Jay Gruden, he back, ain't he? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've got Jay Gruden news. So Jay Gruden now is going to be an offensive consultant for the LA Rams.
Oh, good for him.
I know I'm happy for him. Like it's so funny. It's like I just be like, because everybody just be like, you always happy for like former. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I like, come on now. Like people, I hate when people say that about me. Like you always excited about other, but like that's good. Like I mean, it's okay. Like I'm not gonna be like the ill will kind of guy. Like as if like I'm not gonna burn somebody's jersey because they went somewhere.
right. If you are elated by the fact that somebody's unemployed, you need to like just because we wanted him to be fired at the time doesn't mean we
Yeah,
didn't want him to not have a job and be able to provide for his family. He just
right.
wasn't the right coach for us anymore.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that. You can still be happy for the guy after he
yeah,
moves on. Same
yeah.
with there's I don't think there's anybody that I've ever disliked enough to be like, oh, I hope they stay unemployed forever.
No
That's
one.
ridiculous. We're
Even
all adults.
right, even when Alfred Morris went to Dallas, I was like, I didn't like it initially, but I like, hey, you got to eat. Like, I mean, it is what it is.
It's so crazy though how everything's flipped now. Jay Gruden's assistant, early on was um um McVay,
I mean, yeah,
and now McVay's a head coach, and he has Jay Gruden as an offensive consultant. I think
yeah,
eventually, Gruden will work his way back up into a coordinator position somewhere.
yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a head coaching job again at some point in the next
I
five
wouldn't
ish
either.
years.
I wouldn't either, especially considering the fact of the success of his. I guess when I say coaching trees, I know I look at obviously like Kevin O'Connell's a part of his tree.
Yeah.
Sean McVay's a part of his tree. Like, so it's kind of one of those things where trees are trees. I mean, I know
Yeah.
that sounds kind of, but there's a branch. He has a branch in that. So, like you said, I'm happy for him, and like and he's gonna be successful, obviously with the Rams and that offense. And I think probably I forgot who's their OC currently, and that OC might mess around and be a head coach somewhere come come in 2023. So
Yep.
that could potentially move Jay Gruden up, and then it's just gonna be a factory where it's just like, yeah, and I definitely think he will become a head coach at some point. I wouldn't, as far as putting a timeline on it, it'd be a few years, but I could definitely see him back because I mean, it's obviously it's an offensive driven league, so
Mhm.
there's always gonna be you know, there's always going to be a market for him,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't say his brother may not be in the NFL again, but his brother gonna reemerge.
Wouldn't be surprised. The thing with Jay Gruden is here it's I can see this being a chicken and the egg kind of conversation.
Hmm.
'Cause we already know McVay's offense is crazy good. It has been ever since he took over. He got to a Super Bowl with Jerry Goff.
Yep.
So is the Rams defense gonna make Jay Gruden look good, or is Jay Gruden gonna elevate that Rams offense? That's gonna be an
Yeah.
interesting conversation to have when the time comes.
Yeah. And that's where, like you said, even he's in this consultant role, but I could definitely see him moving up that ladder
Yeah.
with the Rams. So yeah, I'm really really excited for Jay Gruden. I'm like when I found that news, I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, it's a good thing for him.
Yeah.
So we got the Battle of the Beltway tomorrow, and and the preseason has really gone by so quick. It's funny. I still remember like the Carolina game. It felt like it was yesterday,
Yeah.
and just that the nervousness, but the anxiousness that it came with. But that was 2 weeks ago. Now, the Battle of the Beltway. Obviously, like we talked about earlier in the open, the Ravens are coming on a 22 game preseason win streak. Obviously, Harbaugh said no Lamar Jackson. I think Ron is saying starters are going to play a limited role. So maybe
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe a quarter or maybe even a series at best. So
Yeah, when he
yeah,
says limited, I'm thinking a drive.
I'm thinking a drive too. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think some
at
starters should
best.
get more than a drive, i.e. Carson
Yeah,
Wentz.
yep.
I think he needs reps. But yeah, most likely a drive, which I'm kind of surprised that some of them are even like Brian Robinson. He can sit this one out. Terry McLaurin obviously sit this one out.
Yep.
We know what we have from them, but I think one drive is probably what we're going to see from the ones.
And you should, and hopefully we can get something. We can get something going with that. That's the thing where get something going, and what that does, that builds confidence, and that's the thing that what like we said earlier, it's about the confidence. It's really just about trying to establish some form of confidence in this team. So Carson Wentz can be like, okay, well, I got the monkey off my back.
Hmm.
I scored a touchdown. And even though he did help that drive in that Carolina, obviously the Brian Robinson score he led in that drive, but this could be a good opportunity for him to say, hey, I could throw a touchdown. I'm good. Let's just get up out of here. Almost just like kind of what Kansas City did last week. Hey, Patrick Mahomes got his two. Then he dipped out.
Yep.
And the same thing will have to be with Carson. Hey, get that first drive underway, do your thing, and then just dip out and let Taylor and Sam just play and lead us out.
Yeah.
But it would be great to beat the Ravens and have that 22 game streak over.
It would be
But
nice to end the streak,
yes,
even though the streak doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
right.
Um,
It yeah,
it'd be cool to end the streak. I just want to get a third down stop. That's all I want in life.
right, right. And that's
That's all I want for Christmas. Just get a third down stop.
right.
Like if they were to
This
do that, like I'd be fine with the not seeing them again for the rest of the game.
right, and that's the thing where it's like you just want something. Yeah, you just want the confidence. You just want something in a positive way to happen. So, like you said, it's just one of those where the streak doesn't necessarily matter, but it's a confidence thing where it's just like to me, granted, but that lets you know that. But see, that's where it is something because obviously we talked about how people don't value the preseason, but you look at how the Ravens are valuing the preseason. So it's like
Yeah,
it's one of those things where they take preseason serious, and you're supposed to take all this serious because obviously it's fine for them to take it serious because they've been successful. I mean, even though last year, but I mean, you lose a quarterback down the stretch, I think we all, most teams are going to falter. But their success is predicated probably is essentially due to this win streak. Like as far as them taking these games serious and taking data from these games and taking that momentum into these games into the regular season.
yeah,
Like that's where we look at it, and people, like you said, a lot of people saying it's just preseason. No, it's not just preseason. That like if you're a team that like us who need to prove something, you need this. You
yeah,
need you need these opportunities to prove yourself. Versus if you're already established, we already know what's gonna happen. We already know what you're gonna bring to the table come regular season. There's a mystery with this team.
yeah.
So
I forgot who said it, but somebody said the games don't count, but they matter,
yep,
and they definitely matter because there's only a handful of people who have a guaranteed roster spot.
true.
Usually the quarterback, Lamar Jackson in this case, you know, a few players. I would say at least the 22 projected starters on each side of the ball have a guaranteed spot. But everything else is up for grabs. And
Yeah.
you're gonna have players that are playing their hearts out to try to make a roster spot. Maybe not with the team that they're on right now, but once if and when they get cut, they could either be signed to the practice squad that of the team that they're on, or you're auditioning for one of the other 31 teams.
Yeah. And you put film on. So, like you said, when you in those situations where if you do get cut this week, guess what? Then another team ready to pick you up
Hmm.
because they seen you on film. They seen you what you've done. And then that's the thing where it matters. It matters. Like, so when I hear that, oh, it's just preseason. Nah, it's more than that. It's bigger than that. But yeah, it's it's gonna be definitely interesting of how this team will perform. Hopefully it won't be like last year where they blew us out in preseason.
I don't even remember what the score was last year.
Hmm?
I don't even remember what the score was last year.
It was they beat us by like 30 something points. They because that was the game that J.K. Dobbins got hurt. And
Oh,
they beat the mess out of us. I think they beat us by like 30 something points. It was that bad. It was to a point where, and I think we kind of had optimism, like, hey, we're gonna go and beat them in the preseason and in that streak, and then it's just like, it got ugly early. And I don't think Lamar played. Yeah, Lamar played. I think he might have played a few, but it's always interesting. Didn't even remember then remember we had the fight with what's his face, Steve Smith. Remember we had the preseason fight? It might have been like two. I forgot. It's so these years all run around. But I forgot who Steve Smith got in the fight with, but he got ejected. Did he end up going in the stands and watching the game with his kids? And that was against us. I think I want to say that was his last year. His last year in the league. So it might have been like 2000 and like 17, 18, one of those years.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he got too. This man, I forgot who he fought. He fought somebody on our team, got ejected, and was watching the kid. He was in the stands watching the game with his kids.
Crazy.
Wow, right? It's like, and that's one thing too, where and with Baltimore, they're kind of one of those where it's like they're not a rival. They should be a rival, but it's kind of one of those things. It's almost like it's kind of like a sense of jealousy, where it's like, and
Yeah.
it's almost like the tale of two cities already, because especially DC, like people, and that's one thing too, where but people aren't like really near it. People look at DC and Maryland like they're together because obviously DC is, Washington DC, and then Maryland is like their cousin, like they're next to each other. They're in neighboring states,
Yeah.
but it's totally different. It's two extremes, and the same thing goes from football, where especially when it comes to everything, when it comes to how they talk, and then even the fashion, everything is different between DC and Maryland. And the same thing goes also football, where you got one organization that functions very well and have a very nice structure versus one where
Yeah.
we're getting there, but in the past, it's not been as rosy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw a graphic actually earlier before we started. Just since the expansion, of the Ravens when they moved from Cleveland, 2 Super Bowl wins, 41 All Pros, 2 head coaches. Um, with some of I forgot how many playoff wins. And you look at Washington in the same time frame, 10 head coaches, 1 All Pro, which was Brandon Scherf, I think either last year or the year before, 1 playoff win, which is tied for last in the league. Like it's like why when you're in that area, why you choose to remain a Commanders fan is beyond me.
Yeah. It's like that. I mean, and that's one thing too, because that was the team, up until to the 95 when Baltimore moved, when the Browns moved to Baltimore. But And it's just crazy. Like it's just weird, like how the difference between the two, where it's just like it's literally night and day.
Yeah.
And it's like it's crazy. Like it's weird. Like and it's funny because I think the last time that we beat them in Baltimore, I want to say in 2016 when Kirk Cousins did his thing in a win. I remember that game too. Kirk Cousins, well, boy, that boy Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins balled his tail out.
Wasn't
Man,
that
winded it.
their rookie season? His and RG3's rookie season.
Well, yeah, they did. Oh, that's right. They beat him at home, but then Kirk Cousins won them in 2016.
Oh, okay.
We won in Baltimore. Yeah, we won in Baltimore. Yeah, because that's when RG3 got hurt, and then Kirk Cousins came in and saved the day.
Yep.
Yes, that. Oh my
I
God,
was
that was.
in. Where was I at? I think I was in.
Oh my God, that
I was
was.
somewhere in Italy for that game.
Mm,
We're
yeah,
watching that game.
that was crazy. That game was like that was intense. That game was intense. Like I don't even think I would want to even go back and watch a replay of that game. Like I know I'd be starting to sweat, be feeling all kind of nauseous.
Yeah.
Like that's 10 years later. Like, yeah, that was talking about emotional damage.
Yeah.
Bro. Even though we won, but still, oh my God.
Yeah, but that was essentially the beginning of the end for RG3.
Yeah,
Taking
essentially, yeah.
that hit from Nada
Oh yeah, oh gosh,
and
yeah,
from Haloti Nada, and then
yeah,
never really recovered, and then obviously the playoff game against Seattle.
yeah. And now he's and now he's on Monday Night Football and living his best life. So yeah.
Good for him. Still trying to get back in the league. I hope somebody does sign him.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I know it's what's so funny. Everybody be so ready, like because even what's Jay trying to get they what happened?
You know what was supposed to come out today?
RG3 book.
His book.
Yeah, his book. Yeah, the one that you pre-ordered. I hope
The
you
one
got your
that I
money
pre-ordered.
back.
They never charged me.
Oh, girl, thank God. It's great they say, bro, get your money back. Go to Barnes and Noble right now.
I'm gonna tweet at him just for that.
Bro, like that, yo. And you know what's crazy about that? Like, that would have been wild. But bro, oh my God. Like, yo, it was too much stuff going on. That book was about to do too much. Cause like remember, I don't know if you remember when Fred Smoot started talking about it. Bro, I was so done. Like it was hilarious. And it's like, man, it's so crazy when you sit down, you think to yourself, like, man, it would have came out like right around now. But yo, that would have been explosive. Like, man, you talking about being what would have been in that book. Man. But a part of me is like I get he tried to generate the buzz, but then a part of me was like, well, you should have just kind of let the book come out. Like
it was weird because he announced the book and then like not even a week later was like, hey, you guys need a quarterback.
Right. And that's what and that's where it lent credence. It didn't lend the credence like we thought. It was like, if you really felt that way, then that's why. And this is just kind of how I frame it too, because if you're alleging wrongdoing and you're going back to the situation, there's no wrongdoing that's going on, because if you really felt there was wrongdoing, there wouldn't be no need for you to even want to go back. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, why would they want, why would you want to be a part of a organization where you deem that they did this to you? Yeah. So like you said,
and it wasn't even like little things. It was like he had sexual harassment allegations in there.
Yeah.
In that book. And why would you want to go back to that team? And the whole thing didn't make sense. Right. I was still excited for that book, and now I'm very mad that I remembered.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's a good, like, it's one of the things where it's just like you couldn't took it Yeah, and it took the how can I say it? It took the air out the sails of the sell SELES, but sale SAIL. Ooh,
Yeah.
let's go. And it's late at night. Ooh, yeah, it's great. All right, but it kind of took that out of the momentum of the book, like you said, because now it's like you're starving for an opportunity. So it's
Mhm.
just like, you know, but it's crazy. Crazy. But yeah. So let's put a ball in the chat tonight.
Let's do it.
So, well, first, Rob, we need we need our boy back. We need our boy Juan Soto back. Bring us
Nah,
back
nah,
Juan
we're good.
Soto.
Nah,
We need Juan Soto
nah,
back.
because we lost the other guy for 80 games, so we
Oh boy, yeah, yeah, yeah.
now we need
And
to.
they dropped your boy today. Nike dropped your boy.
Adidas did, yeah.
I bet Adidas.
Adidas
Yeah, I
and Adidas.
forgot. Yeah,
I
Adidas.
just
Yeah, I
read
was
that
like,
a few minutes ago,
no. I was
and it's
like,
weird
yeah,
because not to get sidetracked, I don't
yeah,
remember because obviously players have tested positive for PEDs in the past.
yeah.
Even after the steroid era, I don't remember somebody getting this much backlash for it. And I guess it's because he's the face of the franchise and one of the faces of the league. But
I don't know. It's weird. Like I'm telling you, it's what's so crazy about all that. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm telling you, I've seen this Manti Te'o documentary. It's so part of me is just like I just don't understand the psychology behind like why people hate people. Like it really made me really examine like the anatomy of why people hate athletes and why people hate things for the stuff that is brought upon them.
yeah,
I mean, it really made me analyze. Like, almost made me feel like, damn, like I almost want to look at my tweets from 2012 to see did I say something. Like, I almost felt guilty. Like, seriously, like I had to make sure. Like, let me. You know how you could do like a search. Like, I'm gonna put up Manti Te'o and see if I said something bad about him in 2012. Like, I really
yo,
like. I started look. I'm ready to go back down that rabbit hole from 10 years ago to see if I said anything greasy, because it's like a part of it is like, yeah, and it's like, and that's like you said, and it brings up that point about about Tatis. Like, it is kind of strange, like, because some people they just like, oh, well, it's a part of the game. It's just at a third, but like you said now, and that's really his only biggest infraction. It's only really his
that's his
infraction.
only infraction.
So normally, I don't know. It's weird. I think people just literally just pick and choose who they disagree with. You know what I mean?
It's it has to be in some way, shape, or form, just the fact that people want to see the people at the top fall because they're not at the top. Like all this, Tatis he's rich, famous, professional athlete. Now they just want to see him fall,
Yeah.
and I just it's just crazy how much backlash he's getting.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't get I get it, but I don't get it. Like, as far as I understand, maybe there's a little bit of upset, but I think people take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's kind of like a microcosm of kind of think what we live in the present day, where
Hmm.
like with the memes and all this, like you said, because now we really, at times we didn't have like memes like we do. Like, we live in a meme culture, so it's almost like anything, any infraction that somebody does, there's a meme for it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and I think what a meme is, it illuminates the point. So I don't get it either. I mean, I think it's just it's the internet.
Yeah. But once these 80 games are up, we'll 2023 is going to be looking real good. I hope
Ooh,
Under Armour signs Tatis.
that'd
I'm
be
a huge
nice.
fan of Under Armour. I like Under Armour brand.
Yeah, yeah, they make good shirts. They make especially like compression shirts, stuff like that, and compression pants, and
Yeah.
or what I had. It's funny. So like, I had a family member that was like, usually they had a compression pants because obviously because I used to be I'm a stickler for wearing like compression pants and shorts even in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, so one of my family members was like, one of my uncles was like, "Where you get those leggings from?" I'm like, "Oh, they're compression pants, man. They're compression pants."
Yep.
I
I
was
mean,
like, "Yeah."
I'm the same way. But I don't do myself any favors. I call them tights. I'm like, yeah,
I have,
and
yeah, I
because
have.
people will be like, "Oh, are you wearing tights?" Well, I'm wearing tights actually.
I
They're
mean,
Under Armour, they're Nike Dudes, whatever the brand is.
yeah,
I love wearing tights though, especially when I
I
go
do.
work out.
Yeah, I
But
like it. And they, especially the ones like, I mean, I've had the same pair for like 4 years. You know, sometimes certain things just wear off. Like
yeah,
I could wear them in a winter, like in a snowstorm, and I'm warm. I'm warm just as warm as like if I had put on the jeans and some long johns.
yeah.
Like I feel that I still feel that warmth even after all these years. And I'm like, after that wear and tear and wearing them several times, I like, yeah, these things. I
Yeah.
got my $50 worth. Like I can never say like, oh, this is the worst money I ever spent. Like that $50 might have been the best $50 I've spent in the last like 4 years.
I always
It's,
loved when I lived in San Diego, the Under Armour outlets would have specials. They'd have like buy
oh
one get
yeah,
one free on tights. Oh man, I
yeah, yeah,
because like honestly, like when it comes to stuff like that, like even just normal, like during work, I still wear like the compression tights and compression shorts.
yeah,
It's like my main go to.
yeah. But you're good out there. It's 70 degrees and sunny every day.
Well, right now I'm in Washington. It's
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
69
but
and overcast,
yeah,
but in a few months, in December, I'll be down in
yeah.
San Diego and
Oh man,
living
the
my best life.
life. Yeah, the life. Oh my gosh, San Diego. Oh boy, that's gotta be a great life.
It re- it
Oh
really
my
is.
gosh.
I'm getting ready to go back in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So when we do the shows in January, I don't even want to. I don't even want to. When I bitch and complain about like a snowstorm, like don't even say nothing about it. It's
I,
75
I might
degrees.
do my shows outside at that point. I
No,
might do them outside,
yo,
outside by the pool,
blocked. Yo, you want?
outside by the pool.
Yo, you'll get canceled. Like, yo, they gonna be like, what happened to Rob? Oh, I got he's
Couldn't
canceled.
do it. We mutually agreed to part ways.
It's like it's
Creative
20.
differences.
I'm over here, it's 21 degrees, and I'm trying to heat up this house. It's 75 degrees. It's still like freezing cold in here. Like,
Yeah, I don't miss those days. When I lived in Ohio, that's what it was
oh
like.
Lord,
No, I
yes.
0 out of 10 would not recommend to a friend. That's the only reason I don't want to move back to Ohio.
I don't blame you. I do.
If it
I do
wasn't for the
not,
snow, I would move back to Columbus when I got out of the Navy.
bro. Columbus is like Ohio is the worst. I'm out there in April, and it's like because when I was traveling, so I was in Texarkana, Texas, and we like in March we grilling, wearing shorts and all that. We go from Texas to Ohio. First day we get there, it is snowing. And it's like this. It's like after Easter. I'm like, huh? And I'm from Virginia, so it's like
When was this?
we. This is in 2018.
Oh,
So I was just like, hold up. It's like, why is it snowing after Easter? Like, this ain't right. I'm like, I was ready to go back home to Virginia. I'm like, because I was so spoiled to like wearing shorts. We was in Texas in Arkansas, so it was
yeah.
nice. And then we go here, it's like it's a snowstorm. It's snowing outside. It's April. Like,
This is no joke.
yeah, it ain't. And I'm like, oh, I be feeling like poor Jeff. I be feeling for Jeff. I like, oh boy, because September, it's time to hunker down.
Oh yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll put a ball on this week's commanders in the chat. Rob, tell them where you can find you on social media and plug that video, bruh.
Yeah. So you already know where you can find me, FNC Pod on Twitter, Football and Chill Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I just put out my first pre-recorded YouTube video. A little quick one on the whole Deshaun Watson, and it's not even really a Deshaun Watson video. It's more geared towards the NFL and Roger Goodell and the hypocrisy, and what they did with that is just a blatant money grab, and why people like myself still support the NFL and give them my money. I will never understand. I don't even understand the psychology of myself. for that. But it's a quick little, I think like 7-8 minute video. Definitely go check it out. Leave a like if you liked it. Let me know your thoughts on it. I definitely appreciate it. I got a couple ideas for a few more videos in the near future. I am working on my most likely worst to first for each conference. Division teams who finished last in their, or teams that finished last in their division last year, most likely to completely flip and win the division this year. So be on the lookout for that. Right after this, I'm probably going to go live over on Twitch. If you like to see some mediocre Warzone play, by yours truly, is Friday night D&D, drinks and dubs, more drinks than dubs probably. So it's going to be a fun time over on twitch.tv/football and chill gaming.
Bet. So we're here. Yeah. So Facebook, Instagram, Commanders ITC. Anywhere you get your with there, Twitter. I think you got Twitter page, Instagram, and also Facebook. We'll add some more content on that one. We'll kind of clip some of these and kind of do some stuff there. Get this going as well a little bit more, and then also Couch Coach Live. Check us out pretty much anywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Got some stuff going on there. Definitely check on the Twitter. Our shows there. Also, content I do outside of the show, like we do. We do a few things. So just go on to Twitter, Couch Coach Live, man, and we are about to end the chat, and we'll catch you guys next week. And we are out.